Kenya's population has doubled within the last 25 years. According to United Nations projections, the population will grow by about 1 million per year. 3,000 people every day over the next 40 years, reaching 85 million by 2050. That growth comes with demands on infrastructure, urbanization, hence the need for industrialization and job creation. In order to realize the development agenda stipulated in Kenya's Vision 2030, the country will require more than 16,000 megawatts from various energy sources, including hydro, geothermal, coal, and wind. Currently, the country is generating 2,400 megawatts of electricity. This, however, is not sufficient to transform Kenya into a middle-income and industrialized country with a sustained 10% annual economic growth. It is against this background that the government is introducing nuclear electricity into the energy mix. It is projected that Kenya's first nuclear power plant of 1,000 megawatts will be commissioned in 2027. Rising to 4,000 megawatts by 2035.
After the 1998 debacle, when the hydrology was low, we suffered load shedding, and the country had to rethink where do we get base load.
Kenya to attain economic takeoff and join the league of middle-income countries, we need to think, not just outside the box, sometimes without the box. We need a paradigm shift in our thinking. Kenya's stated intention of using nuclear energy for electricity generation reflects the sort of thinking which can propel a country from relative mediocrity to the realms of greatness. It is that greatness which we aspire to. We now have a roadmap and a framework. We have the capacity and the human and financial capital to brave new solutions to the challenges we have faced in the past.
Imagine you have a watermelon and you throw an arrow into it. Okay? It's separate into very, very many fragments. It's the same thing that happens in an atom. You send a neutron into it, it fragments. Now, as those fragments move within whatever space, friction occurs, heat is developed. Now you harness that heat. Now that heat now goes to a steam turbine. And you know that from the steam turbine, you can get your energy.
At the heart of it all is energy. In 2010, then National Economic and Social Council mooted the idea of nuclear energy in Kenya to meet the electricity needs projected under Vision 2030.
It was not just a thought out of the blue that let's go nuclear and leave coal or leave LNG. They work hand in hand and they complement.
In order to power increasing capacity of industry, you need intensive, concentrated energy supply in electricity. This is why I recommended nuclear energy for Kenya.
The government has decided to embark on nuclear electricity generation for this country because our country has continued to suffer chronic power shortages and high consumer tariffs due to reliance on costly oil-based thermal generation and unreliable hydropower. It is now my pleasure to give this country a Christmas present by declaring Nuclear Electricity Project Committee officially launched.
The leadership looked at the development needs and found out that this country would be hopelessly underdeveloped if we did not discover or try to look at the possibility of having new energy sources.
In 2012, it was transformed into the Kenyan Nuclear Electricity Board, KNEB. KNEB's vision is safe, efficient, and reliable nuclear technology for electricity generation. One of its first tasks was undertaking a pre-feasibility study, which was an evaluation of Kenya's preparedness for a nuclear power program. The pre-feasibility study was pegged on 19 key considerations for a successful nuclear power program. The study was completed in 2013 and followed soon after by the development of a 15-year strategic plan. The duration of the strategic plan is significant as it provides a roadmap right through to the commissioning of Kenya's first nuclear power plant.
The pre-feasibility study came up with the potential areas. We can't call them sites yet, but they are potential or candidate areas that if we go further and do what we call detailed site analysis or site screening, then we will come up with 2 or 3 or 4 sites that we can pinpoint and we say, these are now the suitable sites.
The Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board convened the first National Nuclear Energy Stakeholders Conference in February 2014 in Nairobi.
We also recognize the presence here this morning.
Participants were drawn from government institutions, private sector, industry, academia, media, civil society, and the public.
I have no doubt in my mind that Kenya will successfully implement its nuclear program safely and efficiently, borrowing from best practice in countries that have embraced and used the technology successfully for many decades. Let me reiterate the government's support and commitment to the introduction of nuclear power in Kenya.
Nuclear is clean energy. Nuclear is cost effective because it's normally installed in large scales.
Kenya's efforts towards nuclear electricity generation reached a pivotal moment in 2015 when the International Atomic Energy Agency undertook a comprehensive assessment of the progress thus far. In a process known as the Integrated Nuclear Infrastructure Review, experts from the International Atomic Energy Agency undertook oral interviews and received written submissions on all pertinent issues regarding nuclear power in Kenya.
Nuclear power plants can be used 30 years or 40 years and beyond. And very importantly, the cost of fuel is very small and stable. So you don't need to buy oil, you don't need to buy coal, which are very expensive. Nuclear generation should not be limited. Nuclear electricity generation should not be limited to developed countries, but developing countries should also have access to nuclear power.
The IAEA guidance has 3 phases, 3 milestones. The first one is about national decision making, and that's the mission that we are conducting now. When that milestone is reached, the next phase is about building the institutions and capacity to be ready for the bidding process and to sign a contract. Then the third phase is about constructing the reactor and preparing for commissioning and operation. And at that point, a country becomes a country with an operating nuclear power plant, and there are currently 30 countries that operate nuclear power around the world.
There are very critical safety and healthy regulations that must be followed.
The UN thought it wise to set up a body, the IAEA, to advise member countries, and especially newcomer countries, on the roadmap, on the issues that you have to look at, so that if you feel you've actually addressed those issues, then you can go to the bid. In any case, the vendors are also very few. Maybe we are talking about 6 vendors in the whole world. And if they are sure that you are not ready in terms of preparation, then they won't even bother submitting their bids.
April 2016 marked a watershed for the organization as the International Atomic Energy Agency presented the findings of the assessment to the government of Kenya. It highlighted the progress the country had made while highlighting areas that require further actions and suggesting ways of progressing them even further.
Kenya appreciates the agency for successful undertaking the integrated nuclear infrastructure review mission. Kenya has developed an in-depth action plan to address the recommendation and suggestions given by experts during the INIR mission.
The report rightly indicates that Kenya is making notable progress in the development of the infrastructure needed to reach milestone 1, meaning the point at which you are ready to make a knowledgeable commitment to a nuclear power program.
In March 2017, the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board held the Kenya Nuclear Energy Week Conference and Exhibition. The event, held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi, drew participants from a broad range of sectors in Kenya. The China General Nuclear Power Corporation, Russia's State Atomic Energy Corporation, and the Korea Electrical Power Corporation provided an international flavor to the three-day event, providing insights on various topics and subjects regarding nuclear energy. At the exhibition zone, the Russian agency Rosatom had a virtual reality simulation of a nuclear power plant, while China General Nuclear Power Corporation displayed a model of a Hualong HPR 1000 nuclear power plant. Other than the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board, local exhibitors included Kenya Power, KenGen, Radiation Protection Board, KETRACO, Kenya Bureau of Standards, National Land Commission, Institute of Human Resource Management, National Oil, as well as the National Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation, NACOSTI.
It is good for our country and for our partners at this time to walk the talk so that together we can implement what is envisaged in our vision 2030. We look forward to a day when all of us will be gathered here in Kenya to commission the first major nuclear power plant.
In forging partnerships for nuclear power development, the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the China General Nuclear Power Corporation in September 2015. In June 2016, a similar agreement was penned with the Russian State Atomic Energy Corporation, Rosatom. In September 2016, the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board signed partnership agreements with three Korean entities: the Korea Electric Power Corporation, KEPCO, Korea Nuclear Association, and KEPCO International Nuclear Graduate School, KINS. Schools are an important consideration in outreach programs. Students at the secondary level of education are exposed to concepts and facts about nuclear energy. During the interactions dubbed Nuclear for Schools, students received career tips and guidance about potential jobs in nuclear-related institutions. They are also informed of the combinations that would enable them to obtain the necessary academic fulcrum for the industry. This is based on STEM projects: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So far, the organization has visited more than 30 high schools. Outreach to academia has also involved nuclear talks in tertiary institutions. The Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board has also partnered with schools in its environmental conservation programs. Its board of directors and staff have joined students in various parts of the country for tree planting. One such exercise involves students from more than 20 high schools in Machakos County and the Anglican Church of Kenya Machakos Diocese at Katelembo.
Now let us clap for the Bishop.
Another tree planting initiative was undertaken with students from Moi Girls High School in Eldoret. Clean environment represents one of the core values of the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board. Public sensitization about nuclear energy helps bridge the gap between myth and reality. This includes exhibition during trade fairs. The Agricultural Society of Kenya shows present one such platform. The Nairobi International Trade Fair has been a regular feature in the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board's diary since 2013. The organization has also participated in 6 other Agricultural Society of Kenya shows in various towns and cities around the country. Another avenue the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board has used for outreach are county forums.
My question is, this product, the waste product, where are they keeping this waste product?
Mradi kama huku utakapoweza kuwekwa, kwa mfano sasa hivi tuulize, nchi yetu ya Kenya imekuwa na madhumuni ya kuweza kuweka wapi?
How close should human habitation be to this plant or from that plant?
This county has serious deficit as far as energy is concerned.
Kenya's bicameral parliament plays a key role in the nuclear power program, providing oversight, enacting legislation, and helping to galvanize public awareness and support. The Senate and National Assembly have also been involved in nuclear power plant facility visits to learn more about the technology in countries such as the Republic of Korea, People's Republic of China, Russian Federation, and Brazil. The Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board has also organized retreats to keep the legislators abreast of developments and the worldwide trends in nuclear energy. In the African context, Kenya is just one among several countries considering introducing nuclear power.
South Africa is adding their fleet. Nigeria is thinking of going nuclear. Egypt, Sudan, Niger, Uganda. If you go to the Asian tigers, China is doing 24 reactors, Korea is doing 7, India, Pakistan.
To anchor the nuclear power program, the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board and partner institutions such as the Radiation Protection Board have been involved in developing draft legislation for a nuclear regulatory board. An independent and robust institution to perform the regulatory function will be critical in ensuring safety, enforcing legal requirements, and providing oversight as Kenya moves towards building its first nuclear power plant. Kenya is also in the process of accession to the Convention on Nuclear Safety.
The national energy policy that formally introduces nuclear into the energy mix was adopted by the national government in September last year, 2015, and the Energy Bill 2016, which seeks to legislate the Nuclear Energy Program Implementation Organization, has been passed by the Kenyan Parliament.
Kenyan students have since 2013 been admitted to the Korea Power Corporation's International Nuclear Graduate School KINS in Korea, Korea. As at March 2017, 19 students had graduated, with a further 11 currently undertaking studies in nuclear power engineering. Kenyans are also studying at the Nuclear Power Institute of the Texas A&M University in the USA. Commencing in 2017, Kenyan students will undertake training in both Russia and China in this field.
Going forward, we want to open up fronts with the University of Nairobi to start now nuclear engineering. We can't train everyone out of the country, it will be very expensive.
We are also starting nuclear engineering in the University of Nairobi with the same aim that by 5 years' time, when we suspect the vendor will be on the ground, there will be a crop of people to take from.
Nuclear energy is considered as one of the most environmentally friendly source of energy, as it produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions during the production of electricity. It is efficient, reliable, provides competitively priced electricity, and provides continuous supply. Thus, it is suitable for industry and is not susceptible to weather.
Any nation or any person who fears the evolution of technology will not go far. You have to embrace the new technology when it comes and reap the benefits of that technology and deal with the challenges.
I look forward to the day when we will meet to commission Kenya's first nuclear power plant. In the decade between now and then, there is a lot of hard work that needs to be done. All of us have a role to play in building this great nation. We must not squander the opportunity greatness is beckoning to Kenya. We must heed the call and make it a reality.